Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're jumping into something that's, well, often seen as the absolute best part of wedding planning.
Finding the dress. It's supposed to be magical,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But what happens when you layer in something like being on a weight loss journey at the same time? It adds this whole other dimension of complexity, you know?
It really does. And that mix of excitement and, let's face it, anxiety is what our sources are digging into.
Yeah.
You start wondering, should I even be shopping now?
Or, how do you pick a size for a dress that won't even arrive for 6 months when your body's changing?
Yeah, the uncertainty is palpable. But our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to synthesize what the bridal experts and designers say to give you a solid roadmap.
Okay.
Because the good news is, it's totally possible to shop for your dress while you're losing weight. We want you to feel confident and beautiful through it all.
Without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. So we'll cover the crucial timing aspects, the tricky reality of bridal sizing, that's a big one, some alteration secrets, and even specific dress features that can help manage those body changes.
All right, let's unpack this right away then. Timing seems absolutely foundational here. We've got two key windows, shopping and ordering. When should you actually start looking?
Okay, so the strong recommendation from the sources is to begin that initial shopping, the browsing and trying things on, around 9 months out from the wedding date.
9 months, even if you're nowhere near your goal weight yet.
Yes, even then.
Yeah.
This early stage isn't necessarily about finding the dress immediately. It's more about learning what silhouettes you like, what feels good on your body now, what fabrics you're drawn to. It's discovering.
Okay, so 9 months is for that initial exploration. But then there's this often long gap between finding something you love and actually getting the gown. Why so long?
Well, the standard production time for most wedding gowns, once ordered, is typically somewhere between 4 and 6 months.
4 to 6 months just for it to be made and shipped.
That's generally right. Unless it's, a fully custom, designed from scratch couture piece. That's the usual window.
So that 4 6 month delivery time, plus maybe a month or two for shopping, and then needing time for alterations at the end, that gets you back to that 9 month starting point.
Precisely. And we need to factor in a buffer, too. While 4 to 6 months is standard, the sources are pretty clear that unexpected delays can happen.
Like what kind of delays?
Production issues, shipping snags, customs holdups, things that are frankly outside the boutique's control sometimes. Starting at 9 months gives you that crucial breathing room if something goes sideways with the delivery.
Okay, that makes sense. But it's interesting because you hear these stories, right? Boutiques pushing brides to order way earlier.
Ah, yes. The sources definitely warn about that. If a shop is telling you, say, 12 or 14 months out, that you have to order now because of long lead times, often that's more of a high-pressure sales tactic.
To get you to commit on the spot.
Exactly. Again, unless it's truly bespoke, that 4 to 6 month production time is the more realistic clock you should be thinking about.
So if 9 months is for starting the search, when is the ideal time to actually place the order with measurements?
The sweet spot, according to the experts, is closer to 6 to 7 months out from the wedding day.
Okay, wait, so you start looking at 9 months, but you wait another 2 or 3 months after finding styles you like before you actually order? Why the gap?
That gap is probably the most critical piece of advice for someone losing weight. It's your observation window.
Observation window. For what?
To see how your body is actually responding to your health plan. Weight loss isn't uniform, It's unpredictable.
Right. You might lose inches off your bust, but hardly anything off your hips, or vice versa.
Precisely. So let's say you shop at 9 months. By the time you hit that 6 or 7 month mark, you'll have a much better picture of where the weight is coming off. Maybe your bust has changed significantly. Maybe it's mostly your waist.
And that information is crucial for deciding the final size to order.
Absolutely. It might influence the size, or even push you towards a dress with certain features, like more structure or less, depending on where the changes are happening. You need to see the trend first.
So you don't lock yourself into a size based on guesswork about where the weight will come off.
Correct. Delaying that final order measurement until 6, 7 months out is like the best insurance policy against really difficult, potentially expensive alterations down the line.
Okay, that timing piece is huge. Let's move on to the next big hurdle, which feels more emotional. Bridal sizing. It's notorious.
Oh, it really is. And this is where you absolutely have to prepare yourself mentally. Bridal sizes run small, like really small compared to your normal street clothes.
So give us the hard numbers. What are we talking about?
Well, if you normally wear, say, a size 12 in regular dresses, don't be shocked if your wedding dress size is a 14 or even a 16. It varies by designer, but it's almost always larger.
And we really need to hammer this home for you listening.
Yeah.
That number on the tag, it means absolutely nothing about you or your body.
Nothing. It's just an arbitrary number the designer uses for their patterns. It's not your street size. It's not a judgment. Trying to attack emotion to it just adds unnecessary stress.
Okay, so compartmentalize the number. What's the most important action step when you're actually in the boutique dealing with sizing and your weight loss plan?
Honesty. You have got to be completely honest and upfront with your bridal stylist about your weight loss journey and what your goals are.
And not just vaguely, I'm trying to lose weight, right? The sources say get specific.
Imperative is the word one source used. Mentioning your specific plans. Are you hitting the gym hard, changing your diet significantly, working with a trainer?
And they even mention specific medications.
Yes, things like Wegovy or Ozempic. It might feel overly personal, but it's crucial logistical information for the stylist.
Why is mentioning medications so important?
Because those types of medications, the ones that often impact insulin resistance, can sometimes lead to, well, pretty rapid and targeted changes, especially around the abdomen and waist. It's different from slower, steadier weight loss.
Ah, okay, so the type of weight loss matters for prediction.
Exactly. The consultant needs to understand the potential pace and pattern of change to advise you correctly on sizing and even silhouette. Are we expecting potentially dramatic changes quickly or more gradual shifts?
Which leads perfectly into what the sources call the remeasure pro tip.
Yes. So if you do your initial shopping at 9 months and you've had that honest conversation with your stylist, they should strongly suggest you come back.
When?
Right around that ideal ordering window, 6 or 7 months before the wedding, specifically to retake your measurements.
And the goal is to order based on those more current measurements.
That's the key. Even if you're still, say, a size 14 based on those newer measurements, ordering the size that fits you, then, or is closest, makes the final alteration process much, much easier.
Because the seamstress has less drastic work to do, taking a dress in slightly is way better than having to reconstruct it because it's multiple sizes too big.
Or worse, finding out it's too small. Which brings us to the biggest warning, the absolute don't.
Let me guess. Ordering a smaller size on purpose.
Bingo. Do not order a dress in your goal size as a motivator. Every source screams this from the rooftops. It is a terrible, terrible idea.
Why is it so bad? It sounds motivating on the surface.
Because you're essentially setting yourself up for potentially massive stress and disappointment under already high pressure.
Yeah.
What if life happens? What if the weight loss stalls or doesn't happen exactly as planned?
Then you're stuck.
You're stuck with a dress that doesn't fit maybe weeks before your wedding. It could mean incredibly expensive, potentially damaging alterations, or even having to buy a whole new dress off the rack. It's just not worth the gamble.
So the rule is order based on your measurements at that 6-7 month mark. Trust the process and trust the seamstress.
Exactly. Order based on the reality then. Let the seamstress handle the final fit based on where you land closer to the day.
Okay, great advice. Let's pivot now to the dress itself, the technical side. What design features or hacks can actually help accommodate a changing body?
This is where some traditional elements really shine. The star player, surprisingly, is off of the corset back. The lace-up style.
Instead of a zipper, why is the lace-up so good in this situation?
Because it offers incredible flexibility. Think about it. A zipper locks you into a very specific dimension. If you lose more than an inch or two, altering a zipper bodice can be complex structural work.
Right.
But a corset back, it can comfortably cinch down or loosen up across a range of, say, 2, maybe even 3 dress sizes.
Wow, that much.
Potentially, yes. It allows you to really customize the fit through the bodice and waist the most critical areas right up until the wedding day. If you lose a bit more, you just lace it tighter. If you didn't lose quite as much as hoped, there's room to adjust.
So it builds in adaptability right from the start. That's clever.
It really is. It gives you that wiggle room without needing major surgery on the dress later.
What about silhouettes? Do certain shapes handle weight fluctuations better than others?
Generally, yes. The sources point to the A-line as being pretty universally flattering and forgiving. It fits through the bodice and then flares out, so changes in the hips and lower body are less impactful on the fit.
Makes sense. What about the more figure-hugging styles?
Styles like mermaid or fit and flare look amazing, obviously. They really show off curves.
Yeah.
But they're less forgiving if your hip or waist measurements change a lot, because the whole point is that precise fit through the body.
So more risk if you're expecting significant changes there.
A bit more risk, yeah. Then you have column or sheath dresses, which are great for creating a long, lean look, and ball gowns, which are naturally flexible below the waist because of all that volume.
So the advice isn't necessarily to avoid certain styles, but just be aware of how much alteration and flexibility they offer.
Exactly. Try on everything, see what you love now, but keep in mind how easily that style can be adjusted later by your seamstress.
Speaking of costs and alterations, there was a specific warning about made-to-measure gowns.
Right. Made to measure sounds appealing because it's cut to your exact measurements initially. You often pay a premium for that.
But if you're losing weight,
Those exact measurements you paid a premium for might be totally irrelevant by the time the dress actually arrives months later. You'll likely still need significant alterations anyway.
so you pay extra for the custom cut, and then you pay again for major alterations, kind of defeating the purpose.
Pretty much. The sources suggest you're often better off buying a standard size based on your 6-7 month measurements and budgeting that potential made-to-measure premium towards a really skilled seamstress instead.
The seamstress again, they really are the secret weapon in this whole process, aren't they?
Absolutely crucial. And it helps to remember that wedding gowns aren't like regular clothes. They're constructed. They have internal boning, structure, and importantly, generous seam allowances built in.
Meaning they're designed to be altered.
Precisely. They're meant to be taken in or let out slightly. Knowing that the dress itself is built to handle some changes can give you a lot of confidence.
So when does this magical seamstress actually get involved? What's the timing for the final fittings?
They generally want to see you pretty close to the wedding date for the first fitting, usually around 4 to 6 weeks out.
Why so late? That seems cutting it close.
It's strategic. They want your body shape to be as close as possible to what it will be on the wedding day before they start the detailed pinning and sewing. Doing major alterations too early means you might need more alterations later if you continue to change.
Okay, that makes sense. So first fitting 4-6 weeks out. Then what?
Then you'll typically have a second, sometimes even a third, follow-up fitting. The main final fitting usually happens around 2 to 3 weeks before the wedding. This is for tweaking those last little details, checking the hem, making sure everything is absolutely perfect.
That timeline allows for those final adjustments based on exactly where your body is right before the big day.
Yes, it builds in that final buffer. But there's another decision point here the sources raise. Who actually does these alterations?
You mean like using the seamstress at the bridal shop versus finding someone independent?
Exactly. It's something to consider. The in-house seamstress works for the salon. Alterations are often a significant profit center for bridal boutiques.
Implying their loyalty might be split.
Potentially. An independent seamstress, maybe one recommended by friends or found through reviews, works only for you. Their sole focus is making your dress fit perfectly, perhaps without the same pressure to upsell alteration packages or stick rigidly to the salon's policies.
Interesting point. So it's worth researching both options, understanding the costs, and thinking about who you feel will best advocate for your needs with the dress.
Definitely something to weigh up.
Okay, so we've covered timing, sizing, honesty, dress features, alterations. Bringing it all together, what does this mean for you, the listener, trying to manage wedding planning and a health journey? It seems like the foundation under all this is realistic health goals.
Absolutely. If you're planning a significant physical transformation, the advice is clear. Talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. Plan it out healthily.
And the sources really caution against extreme measures, right?
Strongly. Crash diets are a really bad idea. They're often unsustainable, can impact your energy levels and mood, which you don't need during planning, and they just add this immense psychological pressure.
When planning is already stressful enough.
Exactly. The focus should be on sustainable, healthy habits. Balanced eating, regular exercise you enjoy, things that make you feel good and strong, not deprived and stressed.
And maybe shifting the focus a bit. We've talked so much about sizes and measurements.
But ultimately, it's not about the number on the scale or the number on the dress tag. It's about how you feel. Confident, healthy, happy, ready to marry the person you love.
Who, let's remember, is marrying you, not a specific dress size.
That's the core of it. Approaching this whole process with a healthy mindset, physically and emotionally, is key to keeping it joyful.
So let's synthesize this. If you're shopping for your dress while losing weight, it's definitely doable without losing your mind.
Totally doable.
The keys seem to be: nail the timing shop around 9 months, but hold off ordering until 6-7 months out to get accurate measurements.
Yes. Communicate openly and honestly with your stylist about your specific plans and goals.
Choose dress features wisely. Maybe lean towards that adaptable corset back if you anticipate changes.
And trust your seamstress. They're the experts at the final fit. Build that relationship.
It's a roadmap, really, designed to take the panic out and put the confidence back in.
That's the goal. Minimize stress, maximize that dream dress feeling.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on as you navigate this. The sources touch on this tension. Sometimes the dress style you absolutely adore on your body, now maybe that superstructured mermaid might not be the style you choose, or that would look best on the body you anticipate having after significant weight loss. Maybe then you'd prefer something simpler, like a sleek column dress.
That's a real potential conflict, isn't it?
Yeah.
Loving what works now versus imagining what might work later.
Exactly. So how do you navigate that? How do you balance falling in love with a dress for who you are today while also planning for who you're becoming? And how does having that really honest relationship with your stylist help you bridge that gap to avoid potential dress regret down the line? Something to think about.